Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice. We time, you, I know
doing? It is Thursday, which is usually FTG Thursday. And I suppose there's certainly some people that, that as we read today and show you some of the happenings in the news, that we can certainly FTG. I didn't focus on that today. I probably should have, but I didn't because, well, just because. So anyway, hi. I'm not high, but I did play golf yesterday, like I said I was going to, and I am in pain. Oh my gosh. You know, one of the reasons I haven't played a lot of golf in the last couple of years is because I've had problems with my hip, because I'm starting to have old man problems. And boy, did I learn yesterday that I need to either play more or just not play at all, because my body doesn't work that way. But I did okay for someone who hasn't played golf in, you know, in any regular meaning for the last 10 years. And, you know, first time out. And, you know, it's weird because when I played golf all the time, I had a 12 handicap, and I often shot in the high 70s, low 80s, and it just hurts when you go out there and you can't break 100. It just hurts, but is what it is. Anyway, we're gonna talk a little bit about the summit, and I'm just laughing because I have to laugh. And we're gonna talk a little bit about something I don't talk about a lot here. We're gonna go through some articles about critical race theory, because there's a couple good articles about that, and a couple other random news items, and then that'll be our day. So get ready. We'll be doing that in just 1 minute after I play the intro. Johnny, play the intro, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. All right, let's stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Thursday, the 17th of June, 2021. And of course, I am very happy you are here. I am just, like I said, I'm a little sore from playing golf yesterday. My son invited me out to play golf, and thank you to, let's see, who was it? I think it was John Arnott and Mystical Forest who dropped a couple of fives on. So yes, my son and I did have one beer. We had played twilight golf, which is we didn't get on until like a little bit after 6, and you just play as many holes as you can for a very low price at this particular golf course. And we ended up playing 12. So we played 9, and then we played three more, and then we're like, it's getting a little dark. Let's go home. But it was fun. Like I said, I haven't been out golfing in any serious way for a long time. I used to, back when I was young, and I was bartending back at TGI Fridays back in the late 80s, early 90s. I would sometimes golf 5 days a week, and I got my handicap down. At one point, my handicap was down to like 9. I had single-digit handicap, played almost exclusively high 70s on a regulation course, and then my average handicap, I played golf in high school too, and my handicap was 12 when I was in high school. But it was fun. Enjoyed it, and my body, all the twisting from doing this and going through. My back saying, "What was that you're doing there?" I don't recognize that anymore. It's like, okay, is what it is. All right, so let's do this. I have to do this real quick too. Click. Let's say good morning to everybody, and then we're going to get this thing going. Got to get it on. I got to get it on. I got to get it on. I got to get it on. Got to get it on. Got to get it on. I'm going to tell you just what I'm going to do. Okay, tell me the band if you know that song. If anyone knows that band. I know people know what the song is, but tell me if you know the band. All right, let's say good morning to everybody. First in chat today is Mike Savage, Blarg, and welcome to the show, and you get the bell. Okay, let me fix that bell. Thank you for being here, and good to have you as always. Also, good morning, Special Can Acid, Reese Donalds, Avocados Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, Gunfox61, who's going to be headed to the track this weekend. Also, good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning, Always Lost and Nothing Else, a.k.a. Alone. I'm not going to sing today, though. Also, good morning, too. Let's see. Oh, hey, Campbell's in the house. Nice to see you, my friend. One of the original viewers of the Morning Night Live. Also, good morning, Somnambule Nation. Tyler F. Dr. Keeve, a.k.a. Keeverdam on the chat today. Also, good morning, Furry Kitten. Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. Anna Lynn, what's happening? Duck Dog. Also, Selected Boys in the house.
Yeah, boy.
And good morning to, that looks like that's the end of the list today. Well, that's the end of the list. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there working, lurking, driving, thriving. Please keep your eyes on the road if you're driving, and if you're working around heavy equipment, just, listen, but pay attention to what you're doing too. We don't want anyone losing any fingers on the job. God, that's morbid, isn't it? Anyway, so our president, the president of the United States, had a little summit over the weekend with the president of the other great nuclear power in our world. That would be Russia, and President Vladimir Putin. And let's just say it was a little different than it's been with other presidents. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And in fact, now the media that I just check every morning really didn't really convey. You know what I should do? I should find a Washington Post article, because I think I think maybe, oh my gosh, I should just go on Twitter and look at this. So let's look at this real quick. I want to see this. Here's an article from The Hill that I didn't have in my repertoire this morning, but I'm going to add this one just because this is fascinating. So an ABC reporter asked, because Putin got some tough questions from American reporters, but Putin's at least he's lucid. And can answer questions on the fly, and he can kind of rip the United States whenever he wants to. So this is from the Hill. ABC reporter asked Putin about dead and jailed opponents. What are you so afraid of? An ABC News reporter went viral on social media Wednesday for confronting Russian President Vladimir Putin on his long list of political opponents who are dead, in prison, or jailed, asking what the Russian leader was so afraid of. ABC congressional correspondent Rachel Scott questioned Putin during his solo news briefing in Switzerland. That was the other thing. They had separate press conferences. This was fascinating. Oh, I didn't put this on the screen today. They had separate press conferences. They didn't do a joint one like remember when Trump and Putin met? Hang on a second. I got to do this real quick. Oh shit! I didn't. I tried to hit the mute and I didn't. And I. Sorry guys. I am muted. Anyway, I need a one-touch mute button. Anyway, so apparently this reporter from The Hill, or not from The Hill, from ABC News. Well, let's see how long. I'm gonna go 5 minutes. She says your list of political opponents who are dead, in prison, or jailed is long. She told Putin, adding that opposition leader Alexei Navalny, anti-corruption organization, has called for free and fair elections and end to corruption. But Russia has outlawed that organization, calling it extremist. Oh, I kind of like what they're trying to do in our country. Sort of. Anyway, and you know what? I know that it's funny because they ask Putin these questions, and I'm sure some Democrats, some are going, somewhere is just going, there's a reason we should like this guy. I don't know. Anyway, so she said, the corrupt organization has called for free and fair elections and an end to corruption, but Russia has outlawed that organization, calling it an extremist, and you have now prevented anyone who supports him to run for office. So my question is, Mr. President, what are you afraid of? Scott asked. Putin responded, but instead by bringing attention to a U.S. policy that would particularly favor individual organizations in Russia, and at the same time they declared the Russian Federation as an enemy, according to an interpreter. You didn't answer my question, sir, Scott responded. If all your political opponents are dead, in prison, or poisoned, doesn't that send a message that you don't want a fair political message? So let's see what Aaron.
BBC News, our American colleagues.
Mr. President, thank you so much for taking my question. President Biden has said that he would respond if cyber attacks from Russia do not stop. I'm curious, what did he tell you? Did he make any threats? And a quick follow-up, if I may, sir. The list of your political opponents who are dead, prisoned, or jailed is long. Alexei Navalny's organization calls for free.
By the way, I commend this reporter for asking this tough question to Putin. This is great. This is a great question. But you know how Putin will slide through this. But anyway, this is a great question.
Fair elections, an end to corruption. But Russia has outlawed that organization, calling it extremist. And you have now prevented anyone who supports him to run for office. So my question is, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Right, well, once again, I would like to repeat what I said about so-called foreign agents and the people who say that they are part of the unauthorized opposition. I've already spoken to your colleagues. Now I have to repeat that to you. Okay, once again, the US has passed a law which said that the US would particularly favor individual organizations in Russia, and at the same time they declared the Russian Federation as an enemy. They publicly declared that they will try to contain Russia. My question is, which organizations, which political organizations in the US are going to be supported by the US, especially if they pay them?
Now, he threw in that, especially they pay them. So she follows up with this.
You didn't answer my question, sir. If all of your political opponents are dead, in prison, poisoned, doesn't that send a message that you do not want a fair political fight?
Well, on the question of who is murdering whom, people rioted and went into the Congress in the US with political demands. And many people were declared as criminals, and they are threatened with imprisonment from 20 to 25 years. And these people were immediately arrested after those events. On what grounds, we don't know always. The states didn't actually inform us about that. One of the participants were just shot on the spot, and unarmed as well. Many countries are going through exactly what we're going through. Let me just repeat. We sympathize with what was happening in the States, but we do not wish that to happen in Russia.
Okay, so anyway, now yes, he did completely avoid her question. And there's a whole trail of bodies that have gone up against Putin in the past. But turning that on her and on us is a very, very interesting way to take on that question. So anyway, good morning, real quick, to Michael Hatfield. What's happening? Grillin' Pirate Pete, ex-Bubba Hotep. Let's see. I saw someone else. Jen T, what's happening? And Ebony Williams, nice to see you. Amy in Connecticut too. Oh, it's good to have the old home back. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about the summit, though, because we really, this is, I don't know. Joel Pollack from the Breitbart says Joe Biden got nothing in Geneva summit with Russians Vladimir Putin. President Joe Biden gave Russian President Vladimir Putin almost everything he could have wanted at their Geneva summit. He elevated Putin above other leaders, including American allies, and failed to force any real concessions on Russian policy. The degree to which the summit was a disaster became evident when Putin emerged from his press conference alone with a forum all to himself. The Biden team did not want to appear with Putin at a joint conference after the meeting because Biden would look frail next to Putin. True. And because of the media dogma that President Donald Trump had somehow done something terrible by behaving cordially when appearing along Putin in Helsinki, Finland in 2018, except Donald Trump kind of controlled the whole meeting at that time. You remember when the reporters are asking, would you shake hands with the Russian president? And Trump's like, we'll do that in time. Let's get the questions going. Donald Trump seemed in control. Anyway, Putin fielded softball questions from Russian news agencies, but he also welcomed hostile questions from the U.S. media. In fact, Putin, an enemy of press freedom, was more polite than Biden would be and took far tougher questions. The opportunity to defend his own position and attack the United States without fear of contradiction was a massive gift to the Russian president. He used the old Soviet tactic of pointing out to American problems as a way of deflecting from questions about human rights and political opposition. And that question from the ABC reporter and Putin's answer was a perfect example of that. So giving him the forum by himself, he can do that kind of shit, and it's harder to do when you're standing in front of the American president. So kind of a gift to Putin. Hello, Sapphire Dragon. Nice to see you. So Biden tried to use his own press conference to make all kinds of claims about tough talk to the Russian president during their 2-hour meeting. Biden claimed falsely that a meeting of that length was unprecedented between two heads of state. Nonsense. In fact, Trump met with Putin for 2 hours in 2017. It was impossible to verify Biden's claim without Putin there to respond, and Biden has a history of exaggerating his own bravery when citing conversations with foreign leaders. Reporters pressed the two leaders separately to reveal that what commitments, if any, Putin has made to change Russia's aggressive behavior, but there was none. Putin walks away from Geneva with no significant response to cyber attacks with the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which Trump opposed, and with no real pushback against his aggressions in Ukraine. Notably, Biden met with Putin before meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, meeting to be announced. So there's a little more there, but I'm going to skip it. Yeah, they really got nothing out of it. Now here's the New York Post take. Biden summit with Putin only made the U.S. seem weaker. Well, that's not good. Amy, what? Out in the yard still trying to kill this poison ivy. Oh, there's, well, it depends on, there are a couple good products for that. I don't know if you use chemicals or not, but Spectracide makes a really good product for that. Anyway, I digress. From the New York Post, President Joe Biden refused a joint news conference with Russian President Vladimir Putin following their first summit on Wednesday to avoid a PR disaster, yet the Moscow strongman still won the day. Indeed, Biden actually got angrier with an American journalist than with the dictator, who used his opportunity to deny, deflect, and deceive, raising his own standing at Biden's expense. Let's see. Let me see if they might have a clip here of this one. So here's this... Here's where he blew up a little bit here. Maybe this will pop up. Hang on a second. Come on. Well, here, on the defensive, appearing on the edge after ceding public relations advantage to Russian President Vladimir Putin at their historic summit. President Biden lashed out at the American press at the end of a short 33-minute briefing. Biden tried to wrap up his Q&A after fielding questions from just 6 journalists during an appearance that lasted around 30 minutes, about half the time that Putin spent on his own news conference earlier in Geneva, Switzerland. But other reporters kept peppering him with questions as he walked off the stage, including CNN's Caitlin Collins, who shouted out about Putin. "Why are you so confident he'll change his behavior, Mr. President?" Where's the clip? Is this it up here? Oh, here we go. Here it is. You got to see this. So we'll pack this up here. We'll back that thing up.
Why are you so confident he'll change his behavior, Mr. President?
Yeah, I'm not confident he'll change his behavior. What do you do all the time? So when did I say I was confident?
You said in the next 6 months you'll be able to determine.
What I said was, let's get it straight. I said what will change their behavior is if the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes their standing in the world. I'm not confident of anything. I'm just stating the fact.
But given his past behavior has not changed, and in that press conference after sitting down with you for several hours, he denied any involvement in cyber attacks. He downplayed human rights abuses. He even refused to say Alexei Navalny's name. So how does that account to a constructive meeting as President Putin?
You don't understand that. You're in your own business.
Is the summit with China next?
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. This is CNN. That's a CNN reporter he's clashing with. It's not just any reporter. So even Caitlin Collins from CNN is asking a tough question, and Biden is just, he gets all angry like an old guy who doesn't like to be asked questions. Like, you know, like a little kid's bothering him, right? Anyway, just days before, off the Hawaiian coast, Russian Navy conducted military exercises on a scale not seen since the Cold War. A provocation cost Putin nothing. The summit ended with Biden calling the meeting's tone positive and Putin declaring there has been no hostility. Well, what are those? What's that? What are those war games off the coast of Hawaii? I don't know. Anyway, yes, Biden claimed he took Putin to task for the attempted murder of critic Alexei Navalny and the imprisonment of 2 Americans. If Navalny dies in prison, said Biden, I made it clear to him that the consequences of that will be devastating for Russia. And how? Though he didn't detail any consequences. And he said he chided Putin for letting hackers disrupt U.S. oil supplies from Russian soil, yet Biden insisted he made no threats. He handed Putin a list of 16 critical. Then this is the crazy part. So he handed, this is the next paragraph. He handed Putin a list of 16 critical infrastructure elements that should be off limits to cyber attacks. Let me rephrase that in the Morning Night Live speak. He just handed Putin a list of 16 critical infrastructure elements that are now targets by Russian cyber attacks. He gave him a list of things. Oh my God, we're all gonna die. Russians. Then does he then mean he's fine with Russia or criminals operating from there striking anything else? That's the other question you got to ask. Oh, here's 16 critical infrastructure elements that we don't want you to attack with cyber attacks. Please don't target these very important things in our country. Oh, did that list, is Putin going to share that list with Iran and China and anybody else? Anyway, please go ahead and attack anything else. Anything but those. Oh my God. Anyway, Russia's interference in other country. Does he then mean, Russia's interference in other countries' elections? Biden also told Putin diminishes its standing, yet Russia isn't going to change its bad behavior in the hopes of being liked. Do they care if we like them? I don't think so. Anyway, Putin, meanwhile, took questions for nearly an hour, turning them against America. When a U.S. reporter asked about his ban on Navalny's group, he pointed to the January 6th Capitol riot and said that we don't want that to happen in our territory. I mean, fucking touche. And yet, well, and plus the fact that they're calling this an insurrection. So he just compared Navalny's group with the insurrection, the so-called insurrection. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, I'll leave that clip up there if anyone wants to clip that from the New York Post. And then also, let's see, who are the murderers there? Putin deflects when pressed on human rights, brings up shootings in U.S. and the January 6th riot. We saw that in his answer here. This is just a little more detailed. Russian President Vladimir Putin deflected when pressed about human rights in the country, instead opting to bring up issues within the U.S., such as shootings and CIA prisons. President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin met for a little over 2.5 hours. Wednesday in Geneva, Switzerland. It was their first meeting since Biden took office. We already know that part. And you saw his answer. Look at the streets of America. Every single day there are shootings and killings. Yeah, because our news talks about our shootings and killing in the U.S. There are probably plenty of shootings and killings over there too, but they probably don't let the rest of the world know about them, and we just, wear them on our sleeves and, pulling heartstrings. He said, you don't have time to open your mouth or you are shot dead. Or you remember the man who shot the woman in the back who drove his car over her. And then there was that shooting at the wedding. Let's say it was an Arab, because that happens too. But shooting helicopters of civilians in Iraq, what was that about? Who's responsible for that? So he dug up as much news as he could about the U.S. and threw it back in the reporters' faces, even though, they're still just a little different here and there. Why are you so angry in the house? How you doing this week on Tracking Joe's ED, another incomplete erection? More information than I want anyway. So, all right, let's... Oh, and then Biden ignites, this is from the Daily Wire, Biden ignites firestorm over what told Putin on cyber attacks, one of the most pathetic moments in U.S. diplomatic history. This is about that same question. So Democratic President Joe Biden ignited a firestorm Wednesday over remarks he made to Russia's President Vladimir Putin in response to recent cyber attacks that have hamstrung critical U.S. infrastructure. Another area we spent a great deal of time on was cyber and cyber security. What is cyber? A great deal of time on cyber and cyber security. Biden said, I talked about the proposition that certain critical infrastructure should be off limits to attack, period. Well, I think all infrastructure and whatever. In fact, everything should be off limits to cyber attacks. And God, I don't have it in front of me. 16 specific entities, 16 defined as critical infrastructure under U.S. policy, from the energy sector to our water systems. So here he is. Let's just listen to this. Oh, this is the damn Daily Wire, of course. Okay, let's get it right here. But while I'm letting that to open, thank you, GunFox61 and GunFox61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Yes. Who says, while this is going on, China is buying up massive amounts of land in the U.S. near or next to military bases. China building a huge runway next to the U.S. Air Force Base in Texas. Chinese business also buying up lots of failing U.S. small businesses thanks to the COOF. Yeah, that's not good. We mentioned that yesterday. And that one in Texas, they're building that giant runway down there on that big old piece of land they bought right near the Air Force Base. Now, what could they ever want to build a runway down in Texas for? I'm not sure, man. Does anyone feel a red dawn before they change the villains to the North Koreas coming on, or North Korea? Thank you, GunFox61, and thank you again for being the first donor of the day. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, you can do that through the Streamlabs link or through YouTube Super Chats, Venmo, and Cashapp. Although, here's the thing. If you want to give your money to Susan, because YouTube Super Chats takes 30% of what you give and gives it to Susan. So you may want to do that. Some of you are fans of Susan, but if you're not, just keep that in mind. Streamlabs versus YouTube Super Chats. Anyway, thank you again, GunFox61. I appreciate that. Here's Biden's little quirk here.
Cybersecurity. I talked about the proposition that certain critical infrastructure should be off limits to attack, period. By cyber or any other means. I gave them a list.
You mean certain?
If I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me, 16 specific entities. 16 defined as critical infrastructure, cybersecurity.
Really? So you gave him a list? I'm sorry. The whole list thing, I gave him a list of 16 things that are off limits? God. Oh, it's painful. Anyway, good morning, MCs in the house.
Stop. Hammer time.
Anyway, Biden's remarks drew immediate scorn across the political spectrum for obvious reasons. Rebecca Heinrichs, senior fellow at the Hudson Institute, wrote, quote, "This is essentially inviting Putin to attack literally everything else." Conservative Noel Pollack responded to Biden's remark by writing on Twitter, "This is insane. This is one of the most pathetic moments in American diplomatic history." Atlantic Council Director Benjamin Hadid wrote, "I'm very confused by this. 16 entities that are off limits for attack as opposed to others that are not? What the hell does this mean?" Okay, he didn't say what the hell does this mean, but I'm saying, what the hell does this mean? National Review senior writer David Harzani wrote, quote, "Biggest loser today, the 17th most critical infrastructure entity in America." Oh, that's fantastic. Mark Krikorian, executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies, wrote, "So Putin's cyber pirates are free to attack anything else?" Ruthless podcast host Comfortably Smug wrote on Twitter, "This is wild. Only 16 things?" Oh my gosh. Trump took away their pipeline, Biden gave it back, and then surrendered everything but 16 things. American decay. Political commentator Stephen, these are funny, so I gotta read them. Political commentator Stephen Miller mocked Biden by writing the essence of what Biden told Putin based on Biden's own account of the interaction. "Whatever you do, please do not attack these 16 critical pieces of U.S. infrastructure." Please? 16 things, huh? Fox News editor Cameron Cawthorn wrote, "I'm sure the former KGB agent won't find loopholes to exploit there." Anyway, there's only one more, so here we go. "Wow, Biden is so generous," Americans for Tax Reform analyst Andreas Hellman wrote on Twitter. "Last month he gave Putin a pipeline, now a target list of critical infrastructure and a pair of sunglasses." Oh my gosh. What did I say earlier? What did I said, oh yeah, we're all gonna die. Anyway, so I'm leaving. By the way, all these links, all these stories, everything I talk about today will be in a single link in the description down below on right below the initial paragraph description. There will be a link there for one tab that will have links to every single story we do today. All right. I think I have a couple more of these. This is the Daily Caller. It was a good day. This is what Trump's. And of course, Trump chimed in. Trump says it was a good day for Russia. Trump says U.S. got nothing out of the meeting with Putin. Now you remember how? Now I'm kind of glad the former president spoke up on this because for 5 years, from the day he became president and including up until now, people like to call Donald Trump Putin's puppet. Remember that? And he was colluding with the Russians to destroy America's democracy. Well, but at least Donald Trump didn't give Putin the gift of a pipeline all the way into Germany, and then to diminish our own capacity of energy production. So, former President Donald Trump said Wednesday that he didn't believe the United States got anything out of President Joe Biden's meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump told Fox News host Sean Hannity that Biden had given Putin exactly what he wanted: an international platform and a relief of sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and that Putin had not given him anything in return. Well, that's true. Let's start with your overall. Okay, I'm just gonna. You can read this later, but anyway, that's the gist of it. There's several other paragraphs, and they do have a clip of the Hannity. They do have a clip of his appearance on Hannity, but I think it's several minutes long, so we're not going to get into that. But anyway, so yes, the former president with the funny hair did chime in, and everything he said, true. And also, Republicans are mad at Biden for delaying sanctions on the Putin regime. Senator Risch and Representative McCall says Biden's inaction projects weakness. Congressional Republicans on Wednesday said President Joe Biden is backing down to Russian President Vladimir Putin by delaying legally required sanctions on the strongman's regime. House Foreign Affairs Committee ranking member Michael McCall from Texas and Senate Foreign Relations Committee ranking member Jim Risch from Idaho called on the president to impose sanctions on Russia that are mandated by the 1991 Chemical and Biological Weapons Control and Warfare Elimination Act. Was there an acronym there somewhere? I don't know. Although the administration enforced sanctions in March in response to the Putin regime's poisoning of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, it is required to enforce a second round of sanctions within 90 days if Biden is unable to certify that Russia no longer uses chemical weapons. Risch McCall said Biden's delay in enforcing sanctions projects weakness, right? Amid the president's meeting Wednesday with Putin in Geneva to discuss national security and human rights issues. So yeah, I anyone disagree with that? I doubt it. Anyway, thank you, Gunfox61, for another. I'll just say Gunfox instead of. Thank you for another almost 5 who says. Gunfox says, I hope all those useful idiots that voted for this are happy. Shocking. Thanks the U.S. Think the U.S. is a laughingstock of the world again. Russia slaps Pedo Joe around and China threatening war. I'm sure the Bidens will be set for life with their millions in gifts. Well, Hunter Biden is having an art show where he's selling paintings that he'd made for up to between $500,000 and $1 million a piece. I didn't know that Hunter Biden was such a world-renowned artist. And can you say money laundering? Anyway, they always find a way, don't they? They always find a way. Now, this is kind of humorous. Osama bin Laden's niece protests the Biden-Putin summit with a Trump one flag. Good Lord. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. We do have to. There's our FTG. FTG, Joe Biden, but also FTG, Vladimir, I don't think I spelled this right, Putin. FTG to both those assholes. Anyway, good morning, King on Common Law. Nice to see you in the chat. How you doing? Yeah, so Osama bin Laden's niece apparently is not following the norms of Islam in a whatever that she's wearing. Osama bin Laden's niece was protesting President Joe Biden's Wednesday summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Geneva, Switzerland. In videos posted on Twitter, Noor bin Laden, 34, was seen standing on a boat. I'm on a boat, waving a flag with the words Trump won on it. One video retweeted by bin Laden also showed an encounter she had with Swiss authorities. In the video, bin Laden was interviewed by InfoWars and reaffirmed her belief that former President Donald Trump won the 2020 election. Now, this is fascinating. Bin Laden claimed that political messages are not allowed this week in Switzerland. She said that her pro-Trump posters, with the exception of several American flags, were confiscated by authorities and couldn't be returned to her until Friday. The point that I made to the police was that apparently Guatemala is a freer country than Switzerland, because we had Guatemalan patriots just last week when Kamala went and visited the country who had put up signs that Trump won, and they were not taken down. They were freely standing there on location, on site, and apparently in Switzerland, that's not possible, bin Laden said. So here she is on a boat. I'm on a boat. So this is bin Laden's niece, Osama bin Laden's niece. I'm confused. I am genuinely confused. But okay, good for her. Anyway, police in Switzerland threatened to arrest writer and activist Noor bin Laden for organizing a pro-Trump boat flotilla on Lake Geneva ahead of the Biden-Putin summit this week. Fascinating. Anybody figure that one out? But good for her. This is just an oddity, and I don't know if this was on purpose, but Biden drops creator when describing how he cited declaration to Putin. At a press conference today after his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Geneva, Switzerland, President Joe Biden said he explained America's commitment to human rights to Putin while referencing the idea articulated in the Declaration of Independence. But while referencing the language and idea of the declaration at his press conference, Biden left out, he left out any reference to the creator. How long is this? This is, okay, here it is. Here it is. This is weird.
I also told him that no president of the United States could keep faith with the American people if they did not speak out to defend our democratic values, to stand up for the universal and fundamental freedoms that all men and women have, in our view. That's just part of the DNA of our country.
Okay.
So human rights is going to always be on the table, I told him.
Okay.
It's not about just going after Russia when they violate human rights. It's about who we are.
All right, wait. And he threw it right back at you of whose human rights we are violating. Hello, Grant Sanford. Nice to see you in the chat.
How could I be the president of the United States of America and not speak out against the violation of human rights? I told him that unlike other countries, including Russia, we're uniquely a product of an idea. You've heard me say this before again and again, but I'm going to keep saying it. What's that idea? We don't derive our rights from the government. We possess them because we're born, period. And we yield them to a government. And so the floor of my point...
Okay, hang on. I do have to give Joe Biden credit for what he just said. Because we don't get our rights from the government. In our country, in theory, and in sometimes practice, we're not given rights by the government. The government recognizes that we already have inalienable rights. There's a difference, okay? We don't derive our rights from the government. You got that right. So I'm going to give him credit for getting that part right. Good morning, furry kitten. How you doing? Oh, I think I already said hi, didn't I? Anyway, but here's here's the rest.
Pointed out to him that that's why we're going to raise our concerns about cases like Alexei Navalny. I made it clear to President Putin that we'll continue to raise issues of fundamental human rights.
Okay.
Because that's what we are. That's who we are. The idea is we hold these truths self-evident, that all men and women, we haven't lived up to it completely, but we've always widened the arc of commitment and included more and more people.
Okay, the criticism here that he didn't reference the creator. He also got, I mean, look, the Declaration of Independence says this right here. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And he always throws in men and women. I don't care. Men is a generic term for all human beings, as in humans. Anyway, but I get it, why he always throws that in there. That they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So he's right. But he said, we don't derive our rights from the government. We possess them because we are born, period. And we yield them to a government. Wait, what? What? Wait. What did he say? Someone caught that. I was wondering what you said back there. Special Cat asked and said, yield them? No. We do not yield them to a government. He did say that, didn't he?
It's not about just going after Russia when they violate human rights. I told him that unlike other countries, including Russia, we're uniquely a product of an idea. You've heard me say this before again and again, but I'm going to keep saying it.
I've never heard him say this. First of all, I've never heard him say this before. But anyway.
Idea. We don't derive our rights from the government. We possess them because we're born, period. And we yield them to a government.
Oh! Good catch, Special K on acid. What do you mean we yield them to a government? The idea that he's blubbered on the thing. And sometimes he gets that wrong. Now that's an interesting, we don't yield our rights to the government. Just the opposite. Our government, through our Constitution, acknowledges that these are rights we already have, that we should never yield to the government. You don't yield your rights to the government. Wow. It's interesting. Did they didn't mention that part. Anyway, no. Wow. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. Hello, Fight for Your Rights. Speaking of which, hi, Fight for Your Rights. And also, hello, John Smith. Say hi to Elizabeth Warren for me. And check your logics in the house, too. All right, let's keep going. All right, now, let's see. And then he's, this is another article on just him being slammed after giving a... this is the other thing. So when Biden does press conferences, he usually has a list of pre-selected reporters to call on. They give him a list, and apparently, we talked about this earlier. Where is he getting questions in advance, and so he has note cards for his answers? And who's writing these note cards? I think you saw that one the other day where he had the note cards where it was all about. They had a picture of his note card. He's holding it. It had all these questions, or all the answers were related to why Trump was the problem. And wait, Trump's not even the president. But anyway, President Joe Biden faced backlash on Wednesday after admitting at the start of his press conference in Geneva, Switzerland, that he reads off a list of pre-selected reporters that is given to him. The admission by Biden confirms that what has long been suspected, as he is often seen looking down at his notes right before he calls on reporters who are almost always from left-wing legacy news organizations. Biden said, "I'll take your questions. As usual, folks, they gave me a list of people I'm going to call on." And hear that. How does this Daily Callers work? No, they don't. It's usually the Daily Wires are messed up. Anyway, let's just click here and we'll show you this. Maybe it's me. It could be me. I don't know. Anyway, here's here's Joe Biden.
It's about a mutual self-interest. I'll take your questions, and as usual, folks, they gave me a list of the people I'm going to call on. So, Jonathan, Associated Press.
I bet you $100. All or you could just donate it. I'll bet you $100 that he wasn't supposed to say that. This again.
It's about a mutual self-interest. I'll take your questions, and as usual, folks, they gave me a list of the people I'm going to call on. So, Jonathan, Associated Press.
My. As usual, people, they gave me a list of people that I'm going to call on. Hello, Thomas Cleaver. First, close enough. So, Biden gets a list of questions. The admission from Biden spurred a flurry of responses online, including from commenters who compared how Biden handled the press to how Russian President Vladimir Putin handled the press. How is this acceptable? Greg Stubbe of Florida retweeted. You cannot be serious. Political consultant John Burke tweeted. Hunter Lovell, whatever, press secretary for Representative Steve Scalise tweeted, "Oof, I see you decided to say the quiet part out loud." Right? Someone needs to ask Jen Psaki why they make Biden do this. RNC communications specialist Kyle Martinson tweeted, do they think he's incapable of calling on reporters without a list? No, he's going to call on a reporter that he doesn't have a pre-planned answer for, and then he's going to fuck it up like he always does. I swore there, didn't I? Okay, I really didn't mean to. But anyway, yeah, everyone's... but he did, yeah. Then we saw the little kerfluffle he had with Caitlin Collins, which was a non-scripted answer. And you see how he goes when it's a non-scripted answer. Hoo boy, Joe's not very good with the non-scripted answers. All right, am I done with Joe Biden? This is interesting. Dangerous time to tell the truth. Now, I didn't see this part. Biden screams at female reporter. We saw that with Caitlin Collins, but laughs as Putin thugs assault American journalists. I didn't see this part. American journalists, the guardian angels of our democracy, were ruthlessly assaulted on Wednesday by enemies, both foreign and domestic. President Joe Biden, for example, scolded reporters on the tarmac in Geneva following his controversial summit with Russian strongman Vladimir Putin. You never ask a positive question. I didn't even hear that part. He said, you never ask a positive question, channeling his predecessor, Donald Trump, who was frequently labeled by journalists as the greatest threat to freedom of the press in American history. Biden's runway reproach came at the end of a harrowing day for American journalists who not only suffered abuse from their leader, the leader of their government, but were also brutalized by henchmen loyal to Putin, one of the world's most violent dictators. Hours earlier, Biden looked on as American reporters were manhandled by Russian security forces. Is there a video of this? I don't even remember seeing this. Well, let's see. There's a link. Let's see the link. Hello, Wikipedia snippet, and Anna Lynn. All right, let's look. I did not see this yesterday. Seen from the fracas earlier at the Biden-Putin summit here in Geneva, with Russian security forces pushing me out while President Biden looks on. So that's Jonathan Lemire, who is a White House reporter for the Associated Press and analyst for MSNBC and NBC News, New York Daily News, blah, blah, blah. So let's see. Someone down here, the focus on this little pushing match while two most powerful men in the world are meeting suggests just perhaps that reporters on the scene are taking their place in Geneva just a little too seriously. No, it's not. It's not they're not taking it too seriously. That's just not. Maybe it's just because that's not the American way. I don't know. Hello, random American. You're not late. You're here. You're here, and the show's not over, so you're not late. Anyway, well, heck, I don't see the. Let's see here. Hours earlier, Biden looked on as American reporters were manhandled by Russian security forces. The journalists were simply trying to do their jobs and preserve democracy. They're using Democrat words. The Washington Free Beacon. That's funny. As the world leaders prepared to meet, White House pool reporter Anna Kumar of Politico observed that journalists were pushed and shoved by security officials and Russian media. Biden, for his part, did nothing to intervene and appeared amused by the foreign assault on our brave journalists, even as they tripped over cords and screamed at Russian thugs to stop touching us. So this is him seemingly bemused. Biden's enthusiasm for journalists' suffering carried over into his solo press conference after the summit when he berated a female reporter, Caitlin Collins of CNN, in front of all of her friends. I don't know who wrote this, but they're laying it on. Oh, Andrew Styles. Yeah, he's kind of laying it on thick there. All right, can we change subject? Enough about the summit. The summit. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a 1-minute break here, and then we'll come back and get in some other subjects because I haven't played the commercial in a while. So here's my commercial.
Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it, you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show.
Go. How about we put the microphone back on? Okay, we are back. So now I'm going to skip about in about 10 seconds. I'm going to get all the chat that says your microphone's not on. Anyway, so we are now. I have several articles on critical race theory that we've been hearing a lot about, and I haven't spent a lot of time talking about it. Right? So there's several articles today that we're going to do. Yeah, see, now, did everyone see that? Okay, I knew that. Anyway. So first one here, NBC News does a hit piece on grassroots parents battling K-12 critical race theory, but the piece has drawn some fire from people. An NBC News hit piece on grassroots parents group battling critical race theory and woke education in K-12 schools has drawn a flood of criticism. The piece, published Tuesday, titled Critical Race Theory Invades School Boards with Help from Conservative Groups, was written by Tyler Kincaid, Brandy Zadrozny, and Ben Collins, and starts out by defining critical race theory as the academic study of racism's pervasive impact. Well, I don't know about that. Real quick, thank you, Thomas Cleaver, with the Devil's donation, 666. Who says, sorry, haven't been able to give much late. Dollar's been tight, but that first bell deserves a kapow! Thank you, Thomas Cleaver. Look, hey, now, don't ever have to apologize to me if you're able to sponsor the show or not. I appreciate you sponsor the show, but I don't want anyone to jeopardize anything in their own lives to help sponsor me. Many of you are very generous, and I greatly appreciate it. And if you can, great. If you can't, I'm okay with that. Or if you just don't want to, that's fine too. The show's free. It definitely helps me out, but it also, I wanted to make sure that everyone, just take care of yourselves. And if you're able to throw a couple of bucks in the tip jar once in a while, I will greatly appreciate it. But Thomas Cleaver, there you go. Thank you so much. And thank you for the kapow! I love saying that. Okay. So anyway, NBC News is really upset that parents are fighting back against critical race theory. What's really happening is the grassroots civic action that has bolstered leftist causes for years is being taken up by conservative, and the left doesn't like that one bit. The writers present an innocent. Now, the idea too, oh, well, critical race theory is just the academic study of racism's pervasive impact. No, it's not. It's a indoctrination, teaching people that some people are bad and some people are good, even though they don't use that framing if you listen to what it's saying is that some people are always oppressors, no matter if they took any part in anything of the oppression, and whether their ancestors had anything to do with it or not. That why they're always oppressed, and certain races are always. Certain races are always oppressors, and certain races are always oppressed, and that's not a good message for either side of that equation. Anyway, the writers present as an innocent bystander in the push to teach the tenets of CRT is his Cumberland North Yarmouth, Maine school district. Superintendent Jeff Porter, who referred on the record to vocal anti-woke education parent Sean McBriarty as vile, and presented him with conditions he would need to meet before being permitted to attend his daughter's graduation. To Porter, the issue was straightforward. The district has denounced white supremacy in the wake of George Floyd's murder by police. Well, what the F did George Floyd's murder have to do with white supremacy? Nada. That's the thing. Why are you equating the death of George Floyd with white supremacy? There has nothing to do with white supremacy. Period. But that's what's being told to people. But did not teach critical race theory in the academic study of racism pervasive impact. That's not no. Critical race theory is not. Anyway, Ben Collins, I wanted to tell a quick story about Tucker Carlson, a small town in Maine, and panic over critical race theory stoked with the help of Fox News and viral conservative websites. Yeah, right. Porter's school district hired Community Change, Inc., a Boston-based company that self-describes on Twitter as a nonprofit that challenges systemic racism with special focus on white people.
You're fucking a white male!
Can't dismantle white supremacy without dismantling capitalism. Really? Capitalism and the fact that the whites are majority, is that what you're saying? That equals white supremacy? I don't know what they're saying. The district's Equity Leadership Steering Committee sent a statement out to the community that asserted, quote, "We echo the words of the Women's Foundation of Minnesota in a culture that continually reinforces white supremacy." What in our culture reinforces white supremacy? Look, there's a good reason why I don't. You can't enforce white supremacy with me. You know why? Because I don't believe in white supremacy. I think we're all individuals who have our strengths and weaknesses, and have our place in the stew. Justice can only be achieved when we confront and repair the anti-blackness woven through every aspect of our society. Again, in our homes, schools, workplaces, communities, places of worship, and government. Anti-blackness. In every aspect of our society. You mean like the music and entertainment business? You mean like in professional sports? Anti-blackness. And the NBA is pretty anti-black, isn't it? And I don't like to use those examples because some people think that that's the only thing that black people are good at. And we wouldn't want them to think that, because there's a lot of very talented black people out there that aren't dealing with anti-blackness in every aspect of society. No. Anyway, they continue. "We are continuing to partner with Community Change, Inc. to guide us on this journey. We are actively learning that these supposed truths we've been socialized to believe about blackness are violent and untrue. We will work to assess our curriculum and educate our community within and outside our school campus, dismantle the anti-blackness all of us have internalized by living in a society built on white supremacy, and provide tools to interpret anti-black racism." Anyway, the NBC News authors appeared unable to wrap their heads around the fact that K through 12 parents across the country are filling their school board meetings, ousting school administrators and board members, peddling woke education, and urging their state lawmakers to take action. So, yeah, there's obviously it's becoming a big deal because everyone's starting to talk about it. Subsequently, the ABC News writers decided on a theme of presenting parental anger and frustration as a nefarious plot to disrupt lessons on race and gender, one that has been fueled by seasoned GOP activists, conservative think tanks, and law firms. What the fuss is really about, authors say, is these conservative groups have found families frustrated over stupid 19 restrictions in schools and have weaponized the right's opposition to critical race theory, turning it into a political rallying point. Good! It's not just the right, though. There's people on the left that don't like this shit. NBC News continues. These parents are using CRT as a catch-all term for your basic harmless equity programs. False. No. That simply teach about racism or LGBTQ inclusive policies. While these efforts vary, they share strategies of disruption, publicity, and mobilization. Huh? You mean tactics that the left use all the time? The group swarms school board meetings, inundate districts with time-consuming public records requests, and file lawsuits and federal complaints alleging discrimination against white students. They have become media darlings in conservative circles that have made the debate over critical race theory a national issue. Good. Let's make it a national issue. Because I don't think critical race theory is good for black people. That's my opinion. I don't think it's good for black people. I don't think it's good for us to believe that we're victims of the systemic racism. No, it's not. You know what? We don't. I'm not a damn victim. So maybe maybe that's my problem. I just don't feel like I'm a victim. How'd I get a hair in my mouth? I'm just not a damn victim. Sorry, I'm not. And now Andrew Sullivan says, what's interesting here is not only that NBC News fails to give a fair description of why many object to CRT, its reporter celebrates her bias. This is not news, it's conscious propaganda. So anyway, you can get the gist of that. Also on that note, now here's how a Yale, there's several different articles here. Yale professor compares GOP critical race theory opposition to German neo-Nazi aimed at Holocaust education. Did we go Godwin here? He went Godwin, I'm telling you. The Republican Party fight against teaching critical race theory in schools is akin to neo-Nazis in Germany seeking to revise history and put an end to Holocaust education, according to Jason Stanley, a professor of philosophy at Yale University. Appearing on MSNBC, The Mehdi Hasan Show, that guy's a crackpot. On Tuesday, the professor blasted Republican opposition to critical race theory. Here he is.
Jamil mentions the fear that's driving a lot of this, the kind of manufactured fear. But it's not just in terms of critical race theory and academic teaching. It's the attack on elites. It's the fear of socialism taking over America that we've seen in places like Hungary under Viktor Orban and under Vladimir Putin's Russia. You wrote a book about fascist propaganda. Is all of this part of that?
Absolutely.
What if Germany,
what if AfD, the neo-fascist party in Germany that advocates ending Holocaust education, came to power and ended Holocaust education? And they say the same talking points there.
Do they?
Say, we don't want Germans to feel guilty about our past. We want people to...
Okay, that's not the talking point. That's not the same talking point. And you know what? You can teach history and you can teach the bad parts of history. But why should a present-day human being feel guilty about something that happened 200 years ago that they had nothing to do with. Probably their ancestors had nothing to do with. You can talk about the bad parts of American history. You can talk about these things, but the idea that you're automatically categorized as an oppressor or oppressed based solely on the color of your skin seems to circumvent a particular principle that we were founded on. Or in fact, it circumvents any principles whatsoever. That's the problem. It's not that you people teach the bad parts of our history, teach the truth about, whatever parts of history you want. But this is not, critical race theory isn't about that. It's not exploring impacts of racism. It is categorizing people solely based on the color of their skin. Now, I'm pretty sure that most people who are advocates of critical race theory, now, of course, what they're teaching you is that everyone does that. That everyone already does that, right? You're already categorized based on the color of your skin. Well, no, you're not. No, you're not. Anyway, let's hear the rest of this crackpot.
Not to feel guilty about things their ancestors did. We'd all be horrified.
Hey, guess what? Their ancestors did? Because guess what? Only 3% of people in the South had anything to do with slavery. So their answers, and guess what? How many immigrants came here after that happened? So why would it be their ancestors?
Everyone in America would be horrified by that. This tactic is the American version of an international tactic. In other countries, it's gender ideology. So in Germany, they're targeting Holocaust education. In Hungary, and Brazil, they're targeting gender ideology, cultural Marxism, and it's the same strategy. Everywhere you have these attacks on democratic institutions, the education system, people pushing patriotic education, as Erdogan has in Turkey. It always goes with autocracy. And that needs to be borne in mind. I don't know a single country where they're attacking education systems in this way and not also destroying the electoral system.
Oh, and he throws in destroying the electoral system. Oh, is that what they're doing? Dude, seriously, you're a crackpot. Anyway, so there's more on that. Also, from the American Thinker, progressive betrayed their panic over the grassroots campaign to elect school boards that oppose CRT. The public does not like critical race theory now that the details of what is being brainwashed into our children have started to leak out. A majority at 58% expressed unfavorable view of critical race theory, while 38% expressed a favorable view, according to the results of the YouGov Economist poll released Tuesday. The debate has caused a partisan split on the issue of critical race theory, with 86% of Democrats expressing a favorable view of the theory compared to 6% of Republicans. The poll revealed that independents were more likely to side with the GOP, with 20% expressing a favorable view of critical race theory, compared with 6% with the unfavorable view. Now, while statewide bans against teaching CRT are planned, even more significant may be grassroots efforts to elect school boards that will simply ban CRT, but actually overhaul curricula that addresses PC bullying and other elements of politicization of government-funded schools. John Hinderrocker, co-founder of the Powerline and president of the Minnesota nonprofit organization, the Center for American Experiment, has launched a strategically targeted campaign in Minnesota to recruit activists at the local level to fight CRT at the school board level. Good for him. Look, again, you can teach about diversity, or you can teach about our history, the bad and the good, without indoctrinating people into believing that everyone has this. that has inherent traits of racism because of the way they were born. It's not true. And if you, being an 80s kid, or at least, a 70s, 80 kid, when we were coming out of that cultural revolution, basically, as far as, between the civil rights movement, the kind of the hippie movement where everyone, was cool with each other. And we got into this point where we were we were all getting along. Okay, now look, granted, when Joe Biden put all those black people in jail, things changed a little bit. I'm just joking. But I maybe it's just, this is so foreign to me, especially just knowing how I grew up. Anyway, thank you, GunFox61, with the deuce. On June 17th, 1885, this dismantled Statue of Liberty, a gift of friendship from the people of France to the people of America, arrives in New York Harbor after being shipped across the Atlantic Ocean. Oh, that's cool. That's what, is that, now, let's see. That's when it arrived. Okay, cool. On this day in history. Thank you, GunFox61. I appreciate that. And also thanks for sponsoring the show. Anyway, so school board elections are the Achilles heel of the leftist school indoctrination strategy. They typically are very low turnout, which enables unions to mobilize members, their friends and families, and those who make money off the schools, often the largest employer in a given town, and elect compliant school boards. The Center for the American Experiment launched a 17-city tour of the state, gathering concerned citizens in meetings in all parts of the state with enthusiastic turnouts and targeted programs on skills needed to affect change. It looks as though the unions are panicking at the prospect of informed citizens turning out for school board elections. If it works in Minnesota, it can spread nationally like prairie wildfire. So good. Let's see, the band, in a post titled "The Battle Against CRT Gets Physical," Hinderocker describes the efforts to silence his group's political speech. Read the whole thing, but consider that there are two parts of the plan. So I'm going to just leave that. I'll have that in the links today. Disrupt meetings, Hinderocker writes. Last night in Moorhead, however, a group of extremists showed up, determined to disrupt our event. While they comprised no more than 10% of the crowd, they tried to take over the meeting and eventually got violent to the point where police had to be called. One woman was led away in handcuffs. The altercation was the lead story in today's Fargo Forum. Woman arrested following a scuffle after tensions flared during critical race theory conference in Moorhead. And two, to intimidate venues into canceling use of their space for meetings, Hinderocker writes. Black Lives Matter and Duluth chapter of the NAACP went after the country club in Duluth that was slated to host our event there tomorrow with, among other things, a Facebook campaign. The club caved under the pressure. We found another venue, a Holiday Inn, but they gave in too. Within a matter of hours after the far left began applying pressure. Yeah, they'll find ways to shut you down. And I think companies are afraid of the activists. But they're continuing on. You can read about that. Let's see. Oh, and then just the article about the battle for CRT Gets Physical. I opened that link, and that'll be in the tabs today, or in the link today. This Florida woman who spoke out against CRT in schools warns parents to be vigilant. Let's see if this is only 2 minutes. Listen to this. This is what's her name again? Keisha King is not going to sit by and allow her children or anyone else's to be indoctrinated into the racist lies of critical race theory without putting up a fight. The Floridian mother of two went viral from a speech she made at a school board meeting, which she spoke in favor of Governor Ron DeSantis' proposal to ban critical race theory from public schools in Florida, which the State Board of Education passed unanimously last week. Good for them. So here is Keisha King talking at I don't know if it's a school board meeting or whatever.
My name is Keisha King. I'm a mom of two, one who's in the Duval County public school system and one in private school thanks to school choice. I'm also a member of Moms for Liberty, representing thousands of parents. Just coming off of May 31st, marking the 100...
Wait. Keisha King is a black woman speaking out against CRT?
100 years of the Tulsa riots, it is sad that we are even contemplating something like critical race theory, where children will be separated by their skin color and deemed permanently oppressors or oppressed in 2021. That is not teaching the truth, unless you believe that whites are better than blacks. I have personally heard teachers
That's the other thing. People who believes or talks about white supremacy all the time, that, you know, constantly bitching about white supremacy. I think they tend to think that whites are superior, or that's so superior that they can control everybody. Okay.
And we have had an assembly shut down because Duval County Public School System consultant thought it would be a great idea to separate students by race. This is unacceptable. CRT is not racial sensitivity or simply teaching unfavorable American history or teaching Jim Crow history. CRT is deeper and more dangerous than that. CRT, and its outworking today, is a teaching that there is a hierarchy in society where white, male, heterosexual, able-bodied people are deemed the oppressor, and anyone else outside of that status is oppressed. That's why we see corporations like Coca-Cola asking their employees to be less white, which is ridiculous. I don't know about you, but telling my child or any child that they are in a permanent oppressed status in America because they are black is racist, and saying that white people are automatically above me, my children, or any child is racist as well. This is not something that we can stand for in our country. And don't take it from me, look at the writers of these types of publications. Our ancestors, white, black, and others, hung, bled, and died right alongside each other to push America towards that more perfect union. If this continues, we will look back and be responsible for the dismantling of the greatest country in the world by reverting to teaching hate and that race is a determining factor on where your destiny lies. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Well done. Well done. So anyway, I just wanted to see that. You can read the rest of that article. She talks about that. And then I'm going to finish. I have lots of other things. I'm going to finish with this one, though, what critical race theory has thought. But there are some other things here. There's a great article by John McWhorter. He's where is he from again? I think he's from the University of Chicago, or I can't remember what school he's at. But now, you're not racist to criticize critical race theory. Actually, there's two articles I want to finish on. Maybe I'll do this one as a separate article. But so critical race theory what critical race theory has wrought. Critical race theory is rapidly spreading through America's public institutions, yet most Americans have little understanding of the theory and how it affects their lives. In a new video essay from City Journal, contributing editor Christopher F. Rufo explores the intellectual roots of critical race theory, summarizes investigative reporting on the topic, and explains how citizens can fight back in their communities. So I encourage you to watch this video if you get a chance. It's how long is it? It's
critical race.
It's like 17 minutes long, and so the link will be in the tabs. A good one to watch. But back to John McWhorter, dismiss those pretending that if you don't like what's happening in our schools, you're a jingoistic moron who doesn't want kids to learn about racism. That's a strong start from John McWhorter. Since a year ago, CRT-infused members of the elect, traditionally overrepresented the world of schools of education, have sought to take the opportunity furnished by our racial reckoning, and quote unquote, to turn America's schools into academies of anti-racist indoctrination. And the backlash is on. One by one, parents, teachers, and even students are speaking out against the idea that the soul of education must be to battle the power that whites have over others. Yes, that's the watch cry. It's why the elect can make so little sense to the rest of us. They actually believe that the heart of all intellectual, moral, and artistic endeavor must be battling power differentials. They get this from critical race theory. And what most alarms the elect is the state, elect is a group, is that state legislatures are proposing to ban the teaching of critical race theory in schools, Florida being the latest example. One response to this backlash is that anyone who questions the takeover of schools by CRT is against school kids learning about racism and wants school kids to have the adulatory view of the America story typical of the 1950s and before. A sarcastic tweet by a certain famous black figure employed by the New York Times who won a Pulitzer Prize recently encapsulates this kind of view. Quote, "Our children must learn that we are the greatest, freest country in the history of the world, and that we will demonstrate this by barring educators from teaching things we do not like, and in the name of liberty, mandating the government control of what ideas can be exchanged." End quote. So whenever a body of lawmakers or anyone else is against their kids being taught not how, but what to think and call this critical race theory, just as many of its teachers do, that body of lawmakers is a nest of racists.
Resist, we must.
Let's break this down. Elects commonly insist that critics of CRT would feel differently if they read actual foundational articles about it, but the issue is what is being done in CRT's name, not what some articles contained decades ago. The early writings by people like Regina Austin, Richard Delgado, Kimberly Crenshaw are simply hard left legal analysis proposing a revised conception of justice that takes oppression into account, including a collective sense of subordinate group identity. These are hardly calls to turn schools into Maoist re-education camps, fostering star chambers and struggle sessions. However, this indeed is what is happening to educational institutions across the country. Moreover, it is no tort to call it CRT in shorthand when, one, these developments are descended from its teachings, and two, the architects openly bill themselves as following the tenets of CRT. In language terms evolve and quickly. Witness of late how this has happened with cancel culture and even woke. To insist that CRT must properly refer only to the contents of obscure law review articles from decades ago is a debate team stunt, not a serious engagement with a dynamic and distressing reality. The useful documents for parents in the new resistance just released by the Manhattan Institute may be useful for those who still bristle at the use of CRT to refer to, well, what it now means. One could be more precise. And this, I'm going to finish with just this paragraph. What we're interested in here might be termed critical pedagogy. Critical pedagogy names without exhaustively defining the host of concepts, terms, practices, and theories that have lately taken hold in many public and private schools. This term alludes to a connection to CRT. It might be thought of as critical race theory as applying to schooling, but also to critical studies and critical theory, a broader set of contemporary philosophical ideas that have been particularly influential in certain circles of the bottom left. Now, the rest of this article just goes on basically explaining why this is, it's not racist to be critical of critical race theory. Let's see, Advocatus Diaboli, the critical theorists do not believe in freedom and autonomy regardless of what they say. The entirety of it distills a person's essence to simple membership to group identities that dictate actions. Yes, absolutely. And that's why it drives me nuts that people want to teach this. But he's saying that in dialogue, premise of good faith, we can assume that when politicos and parents decry critical race theory, what they refer to is the idea of oppression and white perfidy treated as main meal of the entire school's curriculum. In other words, the issue here is not whether school kids should learn about racism. A certain kind of person loves to stand and breezily say that there are swarms of people out there who don't want kids to know about racism, and they say this with admirable oppositional poise, but not a shred of evidence. And that's just it. Again, it's not about not teaching how racism can affect people, how people are different, how any of the bad parts of American history. Let's see. Rather, what most of us opposed to the establishment in schools and education think are correct about is this. One, young children should not be taught if white to be guilty and if black to feel oppressed, and B, wary of white kids around them, and if South Asian to be very, very confused. Young children should not be taught that the American story is mainly, note I write mainly rather than only, but mainly is just as awful here, one of oppression and racism, not because it's unpleasant and because sinister characters want to hide it, but because it's dumb. Look, it's a great article, but I'm not going to get into it because I'm out of time. So let me just tell you that this is a great article by John McWhorter. You can read the rest on your own. But then there are bills. GOP would ban anti-racism confessionals from D.C. public schools. The latest attempt to combat critical race theory stopped short of banning it. So they're not banning it, but they you know, where they split everybody up and you have to kind of go through Alcoholics Anonymous routine about your racism. Well, they're going to say that you don't have to do that. They're trying to get you to have to stop doing that. But you can read that in the Washington Free Beacon. Also, from Legal Insurrection, now there's a complaint that accuses Stanford's diversity program of anti-Semitism, creating a hostile work environment. This is unrelated to critical race theory. At Stanford University in California, Jewish employees have filed a complaint with the state and federal authorities alleging that the school's diversity program has created a hostile environment for them. They claim that the diversity, equity, and inclusion program does the opposite of what it's supposed to do. Imagine that. Aaron Bandler reports at the Jewish Journal, a complaint filed at the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission and California Department of Fair Employment and Housing alleges that Stanford University's diversity program has created and fostered a hostile and unwelcoming environment for Jews. Louis D. Brandeis Center for Human Rights Under the Law announced on June 15th that they are among those representing Dr. Ronald Albucher and Sheila Levin, both of whom are Jewish employees at Stanford's Counseling and Psychological Services Division. According to a complaint which was obtained by the journal, CAPS employees were required to attend weekly meetings starting in January 2020 as a part of the division's diversity, equity, and inclusion program. The program created racially segregated affinity groups between white individuals and people of color. No such group was created for Jewish employees. Levin didn't want to join the white group because she does not view herself as having a white identity, yet her colleagues continuously pressured her to join the white group. When she filed a complaint to a redacted individual, she was told nothing could be done about it. The examples provided by Banner and his reported despicable and make it sound as though some members of this diversity program saw claims of anti-Semitism as a form of competition. So anyway, Stanford, these people are suing Stanford because their diversity programs are creating a hostile climate for Jews in the workplace. And so that's what the complaint's about. Let's see. Oh, by the way, Tom Hanks is a white supremacist too. No, he mentioned the other day, he wrote a piece, I think it was in the New York Times. Yeah, it was the New York Times, apologizing for his contribution as a filmmaker to erasing Black history from America's consciousness. And so he was referencing the Tulsa Massacre, and he said, he had just learned about the Tulsa Massacre last year, and he's like, he's apologizing, right? Well, a writer at NPR said that wrote an article, Tom Hanks is a non-racist, but it's time for him to be anti-racist. So this whole article at NPR is telling Tom Hanks, well, with your white power and your white supremacy, you should be making movies about the Black experience too. What? Is there no one out there who can make movies about Black experience? I think we've seen some. Spielberg did Color Purple, and he did a couple others, and what's the guy Kevin? What's the Peel or something? What is it? Peel and something that the comedians. I mean, he wrote Get Out. Anyway, fascinating turn on Tom Hanks, and then here's the story by this guy. What's his name? Eric Deggans. Opinion. Tom Hanks is non-racist. It's time for him to be anti-racist. You need to make the kind of movies I tell you to. It's all power play. All right. Okay, so there's several other articles, but I'm not even going to get to them because I'm out of time. So, but if you look in the link in the description down below, just before the initial description, there's all the stories from today, including the ones I didn't get to, are going to be linked in one single tab in the description down below. I need to call it a day. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button before you go. And Jordan Peele, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Hate Camel. If you would be so kind, hit the like button before you go. Also, share the stream out. Even after the stream, share the stream, helps out. And if you want to be a sponsor, like Gunfox61, like Gamer Valine, like... Oh, that's from yesterday. But there, yeah, even Gamer Valine from yesterday and Thomas Cleaver, of course. You can do that through Streamlabs and or SuperChats, which I read during the show. Or you can do that with Venmo, Cashapp, and whatever else it says down in the description. But if you're watching a replay, make sure you put a comment in the comment section. Just say hi. Just, I was here, and, there you go. That helps. So that's it for today, people. Unfortunately, I have to go because it's that time. So... I'll be back tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, like I am every Monday through Friday, and at 1500 GMT for those people around the world who don't use American time zones. Oh, Uncle Bad Touch, nice to see you.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you don't have to be sorry for missing me. You can always watch a replay. Anyway, oh no. Furry Kitten, make a movie about identitarian stupidity. Like Soul Man. Raise your hand if you've seen Soul Man. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. Thanks so much for being here. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.